let's take the last question. It says, for the this screen of death that happened from CrowdStrike, we know any organization can fall victim of insider threats. Is it advisable to always use a hot backup model for every single organization's database or infrastructure?
I was hoping nobody would ask this question.
I've been asked 1,000 times from that time.
Okay, so yeah, Hotsite is good, but when it comes to resilience, cyber resilience as well. Cyber resilience means that you can continue working if there's an outage, right? Which is in theory very, very good, but in practice it's a bit difficult. So you can't just have a Hotsite backup and believe that you have a backup. There has to be an offsite too that you can always fall back on. And the problem with backups is not just taking backups, it's actually testing them. When you take a backup and then the day you need to use the backup, you try to restore it, it's also corrupt, then you're stuck. So when you take backups, you have to test them regularly before you take them offsite. So hot-site backups are not going to be enough. There was a time where, no, I think it was there was this undersea cable issue. I think some cables went off and data centers went down.
Yeah.
So if you have your DR on Azure, DC on AWS and whatever, and then and then you cut off. So what happens? So you need to have the offsite backups. And then when it comes to test of the BSOD, it's related to the first question someone asked about the supply chain attack, where an update leads to an attack or a downtime. It's also very possible. I would have said, okay, you know what, get yourself a Mac or get yourself a Linux. But then one of the reasons Windows keeps getting attacked is because it has the largest market share, right? So the more people use your product, the more vulnerabilities they will find, right? And that's one of the issues with Windows. It's not like there's no attacks for Linux and Mac. There are lots of them as well. So you always need to have, like I said, have an offsite backup that you can fall back on. There was an attack some years ago. I think it was NotPetya, that came from an Ukrainian software company. It was an update also. People updated their machines, and the next thing, the machine restarted. This was I think it's the most devastating cybersecurity attack in the world. I'm not sure if there's another one now that's beat the record. But what happened was the attackers were able to wipe off hard drives completely with no possibility of restoration. So it was more like Russia attacking Ukraine back then. And it caused a huge amount of losses. It affected Maersk. Maersk is a global shipping company. Yeah, Maersk, it affected them a lot. It cost about maybe $500 million or so. But I think there was one computer in Nigeria. I don't know if that's true, but it's talked about in cybersecurity world in Nigeria that there was one particular computer that was not affected. Strangely, why? Because there was no light. In that place, there was no light, so that machine was not hooked to the internet at the time of the attack. So when that attack happened, that was the only machine they could work with. Everybody started using Excel spreadsheets because there was no data to work with. It was only that machine that was offline because due to the local challenges, that was available. So Hotsite is good, but you need to have some offsite backup that's working.
Wow, great! Thank you so much. So, Nigeria on the radar, lesson in disguise.
Say so.
I think more questions keep coming, but I think we'll just take, this is the last one. Says, if we need AI for roles like security operations center, for security operations center analysis, why is there still a large number of job opportunities, unlike GRC, that is government risk and compliance, which needs the to know AI application?
Okay, I'm not sure I got the question.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so you say if we need AI for...
No, I heard it, but I'm not sure I got
you understand
of
myself. I'm also trying to understand.
So I'll address it the way I understand the question, right? So for SOC roles, yes, there's artificial intelligence doing stuff. The problem is that people brand, a lot of this needs marketing. A lot of it is marketing. When you see organizations actually doing artificial intelligence, nobody wants AI to take charge of their SOC completely, right? AI can take care of the repetitive tasks, like I mentioned, tasks that bore human beings, so that human beings can take the final decision. If you allow AI to run your SOC, the attackers are not they're using AI also, but they are the ones doing it. Attackers are hands-on. Right? You have an attacker in your environment. It's a hands-on person. It's a black hat hacker in your environment, and you're expecting AI to be able to defeat that person. AI, unfortunately, has not reached that level of intelligence where you can allow it to do stuff on its own. What will do that is AGI, not even AI. There's something called the AGI, right? That's the artificial general intelligence. We are not there yet. We are still at the level of AI, which is more specialized, right? So the attacker is vast, right? That's the human intelligence. The attacker understands so many things. So if you have an AI that is doing automated response, the response is, I can understand the automated response based on factors like anomaly detection. And even with anomaly detections, you can trick it. When it comes to zero-day protection, anomaly detections find it very difficult, because attackers know that when attackers know the tool you're using, that's the thing with attackers. They just need time and space. Just give an attacker time and space, they can beat any protection you have. That's why it's very important to remove the attacker at the early stages, right? So you can't depend on AI fully for a SOC. The SOC is a very, very critical part of cybersecurity, probably one of the most important parts of cybersecurity.
Yes.
So it's not something that AI can currently do. So when you hear people saying, "Oh, AI is replacing SOC people," no. Maybe very junior level, very basic level. At the
maybe
point,
tier 1.
Yeah, maybe log correlation or log collection and stuff like that. When it comes to L2, where you do the real analysis investigation, I'm not sure there's any AI tool right there that can replace a human being. Can work with a human being, can make work easy for a human being. For example, AI can summarize cases for you, can prioritize for you and stuff like that, tell you what ones you should go for first. But AI has a risk of false positives, because mind you, AI has to be trained. Machine learning has to be trained.
Yes.
Right. Even with the training, look at what happened to me this morning. Google has been trained for how many years? It's still not reliable sometimes. So that's we're not there yet. So I'm sorry, AI is not replacing SOC. So people market it as AI SOC, AI SIM, AI this, AI that. The AI in it means it's assisting you. So if you needed 10 people in the SOC, maybe now you need only 5. Yeah, that's correct. But it doesn't mean that it's replacing them. It's making the work easier, because it's automating certain tasks that used to perform by a number of people. Now you need less people. For example, a SOC has to be run 24/7. So you can't run your SOC from 9 to 5 and leave AI to run it from 5 p.m. till 8 in the morning, because 10% of attacks happen 9 to 5. 90% happens after work hours. So you as a human being, you are focusing on 10% and leaving a machine that is not that intelligent to handle 90%, doesn't work that way. So yeah, AI there's so much hype about it, but it's not replacing the SOC people. I'm sorry. Most of the jobs I found on LinkedIn,
SOC.
Yeah, exactly. You saw them, right? Most of them were SOC roles. A few of them GRC. So even with GRC, right, AI can help them as well. AI can help in terms of auditing, recommendation, to flag vulnerabilities. But you still need the human intelligence. Someone still needs to connect the dots. A GRC person has to talk to several departments, right? The guys doing response, the guys doing the controls, they're probably different teams. So the guys doing SOC are different from the guys doing control. Someone has to be able to interface with them. So AI is not going to do that, right now, right? So yeah, so those things exist. AI is making work easier for them, but it's not replacing them, right now. It's a very long way out.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so comprehensive. I know this person's question was, okay, why do we still have all of these SOC roles if they say or they claim that AI is now so effective? So again, understanding SOC, for me, where I have seen like the capability of AI, really in the SOC, the area where it plays a huge role is actually in just the security automation, orchestration, automation, and response. That's for where I see it plays a huge role in the SOC. And outside that, you still need a lot of human intervention. You still have the layer 1 to the layer 2, 3. You still need to do threat intelligence. You still need to do threat hunting. You need individuals. You need human beings, real human beings, to be able to go into nuances of all of that, all that is needed to actually get this to come true. Thank you.
Let me give you an example on that one too. There's what we call API security, right?
Yeah.
So you want to monitor attackers trying to abuse, API vulnerabilities and, connecting to your application. So there are some AI-based solutions for API security as well, right? So those AI-based solutions will, if they detect certain patterns, they can notice an attack. So they can disable the API access completely, or they can even shut down the server completely. Now, this server generates maybe, $10,000 for you, per hour. Are you going to leave that to the AI to decide to shut it down because of a false positive? I don't think anybody wants to take that decision right now. So when it comes to, detection and response, it's still a gray area that a human being has to make the final call.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. It's been so engaging. It's been so mind blowing. And I'm sure our audience, I'm sure you look forward to another section